Secretary Uy, you mentioned that you had a very productive meeting this morning with the U.S. ambassador to the Philippines, who expressed some interest, on behalf of some American companies to do business here. Is there anything that you can share? I mean, I think people are always interested about new economic opportunities for the Philippines. What are some of the nibbles that you have been feeling from the business sector?
Well, it's very encouraging.
Okay.
As we move from the pandemic scene to the new normal, and many opportunities have opened up, and we need to work within those new parameters now. So we're seeing hybrid work, I think, to be the new normal.
Right.
So there will be instances where there will be work from home.
Right.
There will be instances where they'll have to be in the workplace.
Manila Times, we decided to allow people to work from home. Those who can, by the way.
Yes.
But of course, not all of the reporters can do that. But
yes. And so we've seen one of the biggest locators in our country for the business process outsourcing are American companies.
I see.
And so they transfer a lot of the work to the Philippines, and with our proficiency in the English language, and their proficiency in the programming, in many of the skill sets that are actually needed by these company locators, makes us an ideal destination for the business process outsourcing. So the U.S. is one of our biggest contributors to this segment. In fact, last year we had $29 billion from this segment alone, the BPO sector.
Invest in income.
The revenue.
I see.
The economic contribution.
I see.
Of this industry.
Well, that's exceeding even the remittances then.
Close. The remittance, yeah. I think last year was about 31.
Okay.
31 billion. So,
wow.
Last year we had an increase of 10%.
Okay.
In terms of revenue on the BPO sector.
Okay.
So it's 29 billion.
Right.
This year, because of the connectivity that we're promising them,
right.
and because of the optimism that many of the U.S. companies are looking, because of the favorable business environment and the new leadership, they're anticipating a 15% increase.
Wow.
In revenue from the $29 billion. So,
wow.
So it might be as short as 1 year, or perhaps 2 years, where the BPO sector will overtake the OFW sector as the #1 contributor.
Wow.
In terms of the economy.
Wow.
So that's great news.
That's great news. Of course, the devil, as they say, sometimes is in the details. Now, of course, you have to work with policy interventions from Congress. What are some of the things that you'd like to see that can help ensure that these things actually happen? I know the president, during his State of the Nation address, mentioned a number of things, mentioned the DICT quite often and quite prominently. But again, what's realistic from Congress? What are you asking, and what can be realistically be delivered by Congress within maybe the next year or so?
Well, in terms of legislative reforms, I think that will greatly help.
Okay.
A lot of our regulations and laws were designed for the past industrial age. We are now in the 4th industrial age, and there are a lot of things that's happening that cannot be addressed by archaic laws,
right.
that ties our hands,
right.
and restrict us from moving forward. For instance, our Republic Act 9184,
okay.
the government procurement law.
Okay.
These are designed to purchase papers and pencils.
Okay.
And so
common use items.
Yeah. Yes, they're not designed for managed services.
Okay.
They're not designed for accessing cloud services. Mm-hmm. It's square peg on a round hole
Okay.
situation whenever
Right.
we do a bidding
Right.
for technology-enabled projects.
Okay.
Whenever we are restricted by those archaic laws.
Right.
So that's the procurement law. Second is our audit rules.
Okay.
So our commission and audit, the government auditing system, I think needs also to be
revamped, yeah. Yeah.
and to be reformed,
Yeah.
so that they do not expect certain old paradigms to still be implemented under these new.
I was going to say that's the challenge, because you have these new technologies, new systems, and the laws, frankly, have not yet caught up to, I suppose, consider these new developments.
Yes,
Yeah.
and well, the good thing,
Okay.
the good thing about today,
Okay.
is that we have a very young set of legislators.
Okay.
I had several meetings with them during these past 2 months, and amazing. We have very forward-looking legislators who understand
Okay.
the power of technology-enabled workforce, of a technology-empowered governance, and digitalization of our economy. So I was so happy when I sat down with them and we were discussing. We were all on the same page, and they fully understand the reforms that need to be done in
You
the
don't have to
government.
convince them. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Actually, in the past, that has always been a challenge, convincing the more senior members of
Congress.
government.
Yeah.
Of government. But today, we have a different group. These are young. These are very energetic, very passionate, very patriotic, and the sense of idealism is contagious.
Right.
And I am very optimistic that this Congress is going to be a very progressive and very engaging Congress that will push the President's digital agenda forward.
Right. Well, not to dampen your enthusiasm, Secretary, is there anything that you see that could be a hurdle to maybe the delivery of these new laws that are needed so that you can execute better? For instance, some people are talking about charter change, and of course you have elections 3 years from now. I mean, is there anything political, perhaps, that you need to hurdle? Maybe external factors that need to be considered. Lots of things going on abroad that impact, virtually every aspect of society. What are you keeping an eye on?
Well, there are geopolitical issues out there, but in terms of technology, I think most of the geopolitical issues would affect us in terms of, let's say, cybersecurity.
Okay.
Or cyber defense.
Okay.
You've seen what has happened in the recent past. I think that is one thing that we need to build up.
Right.
Our capacity, build up our skills and our workforce to handle and to anticipate. Then a few days back, we had a press conference on child exploitation and pornography.
Yeah, in Malacanang.
Yes. And that is a big challenge, because once you start providing connectivity, once you start providing
That's the other
access,
side of the coin.
Yes. So that's the dark side of the cyber arena.
Yeah.
And cyber criminals will exploit whatever tool they can access, they can use in order to perpetrate their criminal objectives.
I'd like to get back to that, but let me take a step back with regard to talking to foreign investors. I know in the years past there's been some concerns, particularly in the US and UK, about talking to some Chinese telco companies, particularly with 5G rollout. But what we hear is from the media. But can you tell us, is there a legitimate security concern talking to technology providers from any other country, from other countries, not China in particular. But is there legitimate concern there that we need to build in our plans here in the Philippines?
Well, we need to thoroughly study all the different issues that have been raised.
Okay.
And so we don't take other groups' opinions.
Right.
We don't take their opinions lightly.
Right.
But
we do
also,
your own due diligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we also we have to look at it, and we have to see whether the claims are true. And if it is, then what are the options that we have in terms of risk mitigation or risk elimination? There are many ways of approaching the problem. And the important thing is we communicate. The channels are open, and we share those information from all sources. So if there are claims that this particular technology is not conducive or is not ideal, then we talk to other countries who have used those technologies and see, can you validate this?
Right.
Is this true or not?
Right.
Are you unnecessarily exposed to greater risks, or are these just marketing
gimmicks or
just
market strategies?
Just to get rid of the competition.
Yeah.
So we have to strike a balance in those. But so the important thing is information sharing.
Okay.
So long as we're able to talk to other countries that are similarly situated or are even ahead of the curve, then we learn from them.
Right.
We learn from their experiences, so we don't make the same mistakes.
Right. Well, very interesting.